Okay, what's going on? We're going to deep dive into 3 exercises. This is for workout B, but I wanted to deep dive into these 3 exercises specifically because I think a lot of people struggle with learning both the RDL, the rear foot elevated split deadlift, which is an exercise that we're going to focus on, and then the lateral step down. I'm actually going to start there because the step is here. So I'm going to bring it out and just go over it real quick. So the lateral step down specifically is really important. I think for a lot of people, they struggle with shifting into their hips in general, and then vertical shin. So what is vertical shin? Vertical shin is this thing, so the knee below the hip, right? But then the ankle below the knee. A lot of people, when they do this exercise, which is a lateral step up, they do it and they say they feel it in their knee, right? You can see I'm not using my hip. So the exercise here specifically, what we're looking for is to be able to shift the hip back, and then you won't be able to see my other foot because I'm going straight to the ground, right? So there's your lateral push, and then even more so, okay, of a knee, almost really not going too much past the toe, pushing down through my heel, okay, and then back up. We want to see that pelvis at the top. Let's see it from the front. So again, the lateral motion, right? You can see that hip shift. The pelvis is way tilted, and that's good. We want that. I'm tilting into this pelvis, pushing down through the ground, standing up tall, hopefully having better balance than that, pausing, and then back down. Again, this foot stays within the confines of the box. I'm not going to turn it into a forward step up. It's another exercise for another time. So once again, the lateral step up is a hip dominant motion in this version. Okay, we could do it knee dominant for the most part. For most people, we want this to be hip dominant. So again, here's it from the front. Okay, I'm pushing down through this heel, standing up tall, and then going straight back down. Pushing down through the heel, and then going back down. So lateral step down or step up. It looks the same. Let's actually show it from this side so you can see what the uninvolved side looks like. Okay, so I'm going to be on the step, shifting into my, in this instance, the up hip, the elevated hip, and then you can see that's almost similar to a lateral lunge. I'm pushing down into the ground, okay, righting the ship at the top, so the hips technically have to go and get square, and then back down, push to stand, and then again, look where my left foot drops, okay? It's not back here, there's your forward step up, right? It looks very similar, but staying within that confines here of that lateral push, right? The ship at the top, and then back down. So that's our lateral step down. Crucial exercise. The height doesn't really matter. It's still a challenge, right? This is a 12-inch box. It's still a challenge at 12-inch. You could do higher. But for some people, really starting off at a 6-inch box, literally the little steps, the aerobic steps, they're a great tool to learn. All right? So lateral step down, lateral step up. There's your form. Now, let's go over the rear foot elevated split deadlift, okay? Because this is different. I'm going to get it with this as our target, and then I'll show you with the wall one too, because I think the wall version is fun. So to get my distance out, and I'm just going to show you this too, because I don't want a lot of pressure on this back foot. This would not be comfortable if I had a lot of pressure on this foot. So I'm going to step out here, and then instead of doing a split squat, which would be more vertical of the torso, I'm going to have a little bit more of that forward lean, load that front foot, and then push to stand. When I get to that top position, this is super important. When I get to that top position, I am done. My hip is already in extension. I don't need to cram any more space into that lumbar spine. So when you finish at the top, right, just finish from your hip. Come down, reach, it almost looks like the bottom of a single leg RDL, and then push to stand. Let me show you from this side so you see it. And then we'll go over the wall version. So again, watch this hip. It shoots back, vertical, absolutely vertical shin. Okay, there's an awesome position, and then stand back up. Okay, and I'm standing from this hip. The squeeze comes from here. So down, push, and stand. Down, push, and stand. So the hips going backwards. Awesome, awesome exercise. Now, let's do the wall rear foot elevated split squat. I'm actually going to show you the wall, but I'm going to the squat back. So what I'm going to do, and I've learned this the hard way, I actually don't want weight on this back foot. I think a lot of people load the back foot a lot, and I haven't found it to be as effective as getting this to be more of a single leg exercise. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to have your heel in this part of your leg, okay, parallel with the ground. All right, so I've also seen it where people are way up here. We've had better results with right here, okay? So now, here's the only part of the exercise that is loaded for this up foot. I'm pushing into here, and then I'm gonna initiate a turn, okay? And then get that squat position, and then back up. So I'm pushing into the wall, okay? And then getting like a little bit of a torso turn. Let me show you from the front so you can see that torso turn. I'm gonna again set up, okay? I'm pushing into the wall. My heel is at roughly knee height, okay? I'm gonna turn slightly and load this hip. As I reach down, I'm bending and then standing back up tall. So again, a little bit of rotation, reach down, touch, and back up. So I have, call it 5 to 10 pounds of pressure pushing into the wall, probably a little more than that. That actually initiates the turn for me, so I get this rotation. And there's our rotation exercise, okay? So we get that pressure into the wall, and then we load that from hip. What a great exercise, a nice complement, okay, to the other versions of this exercise. Most people do the wall exercise, I think, a little bit different. I also think most people do the rear foot elevated split squat in general. So the wall rear foot elevated split squat is a nice variation if you're like, the couch is too cushy, or I don't like the bench, it's too high. Finally, the last exercise we're going to focus on is the Romanian deadlift. So the Romanian deadlift for us, the biggest difference this month is that we're working on tempo. So for a lot of people, the Romanian deadlift in general is a little bit foreign of an exercise. I'm going to use 2 dumbbells. But the Romanian deadlift, where it came from actually is Arnold used to work out at Venice Beach, and one day they were doing a lower body workout, and they saw this guy in the corner doing a deadlift that they had never seen before. When they asked him, what kind of exercise, where'd you get this from? And it turns out he was a Romanian, and that's where the exercise came from, old school bodybuilding exercise. So anyways, what we're gonna do is focus on the tempo. So from here, okay, I'm gonna have my dumbbells. You could do barbell, you could do kettlebells, doesn't matter. But from here, I'm gonna shoot my hips back. Again, working on that vertical shin. The dumbbells go straight down, okay? And then back up on a 4 count. So 4 seconds to lower. 4, 3, 2, 1, and back up. Again, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back up. Why do we do a slow eccentric? I think a lot of people in life actually have to lower things slowly, right? You got a couch, you got a chair, you're moving a box, and you have to set it down. Okay, slow, ready, you got it? Okay, so this is a very, very functional movement. In addition, a lot of people on the Romanian deadlift, what do? They tend to turn it into a squat or a regular deadlift. So for us to teach the Romanian deadlift, I like this month's emphasis on the tempo. So a 4-second eccentric, 8 to 10 reps if you need to. If your grip is going, you can go over, under. You're not going to be under that much stress. Just make sure you switch. In addition, on your grip, you can go and then set it down and then reset. So just keep your grip. Again, the 3 exercises this month: the lateral step up, the lateral step down, the rear foot elevated, wall rear foot elevated, or rear foot elevated split dead, not split squat, and then a slow tempo. So we're emphasizing that this month. We try to change the patterns every month. We do a version of squat, a version of a lunge, a version of a deadlift, a version of a step up, a version of a hip thrust. Arguably, we do a squat, a lunge, and a step up on one day, and then the other day would be a deadlift, a single leg deadlift, and then maybe a lateral step up. We tend to change it that way. So once again, the concept here is to let's keep the movements progressing, but not necessarily at the expense of intensity. So keeping intensity, keeping the weights heavy enough in order to induce adaptation is our goal. All right, that's all I got. Those are our 3 exercises that we're focusing on this month in Workout B. Have a good day.